learned from my grandparents early in life, if you do one thing and do it better than anybody else, you become known for it and you crystallize your reputation for it. And that's primarily what we did with the state of Alaska. My history in Alaska actually started in 1955 when my father shipped eggs from a little town called Foley, Minnesota, up the Alaska Highway into Fairbanks, Alaska. I was 12 years old and I got to ride with him in that 47 Cadillac. We actually got to drive the entire Alaskan Highway. Just an incredible experience to see the animals, the rivers, the glaciers, beauty that I'd never expected. The Anderson House was the oldest hotel in the state of Minnesota. My family purchased it in 1890 and renamed it Anderson Hotel. That's also where we started our tour company. It was called Anderson House Tours. We actually started visiting Alaska as a tour company in 1983 was our first trip up. Most people that travel to Alaska don't get a chance to see the real beauty of it. We wanted to specialize in Alaska and do it better than anybody else. So it was my philosophy that I wanted to get people into parts of Alaska that nobody else took them. And we transferred that into where we are today, where we cover 2/3 more of Alaska than anybody else. I think we're a lot different than most of the tourism companies. By limiting number of passengers, we can get people into the best restaurants, the best hotels, keeping people isolated from the big groups and giving them the real Alaskan experience. Our main philosophies are service, quality, and strong business ethics. Family is a very important part of John Hall's Alaska, and that kind of goes through the generations of our family. John, Joseph, Elizabeth all went to Alaska with me when they were children. Their knowledge from Alaska continued to grow yearly.
We as a family have worked very hard to have a different standard when it comes to traveling in Alaska. It's about experiencing what truly is offered by the state. To be able to combine that in a small group format where our foundation of our business is customer service is something unlike anything else in Alaska.
I think when people look at what we do, it's unique because we are offering something that's more geared towards the individual traveler, but we're doing it in a group setting.
We believe in over-delivering and really going beyond the expectations of the guest and delivering a product that leaves them coming home with the desire to come back and do it again and again.
I think our legacy is one of a pioneer in the tourism business because we've broken ground into parts of Alaska that nobody else goes. We want to maintain our individuality, maintain our quality of service, and maintain our reputation. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of our past guests from 1983 all the way up to our future guests. A big thank you from the John Hall family. We look forward to serving you, and you can count on some new and exciting projects in the future.
For John Hall Sr., his history with Alaska dates back to 1955, riding with his father on the Alaska Highway in a 1947 Cadillac. The mission was to deliver 500 cases of fresh eggs to the Piggly Wiggly in Fairbanks. Since then, his love of America's last frontier has created an ongoing passion for presenting the best and most comprehensive Alaska travel program in today's market. John Sr.'s family had roots in the hotel business, with 3 generations on his mother's side running hotels in Wisconsin and Minnesota. In 1976, he purchased the old family hotel, the Anderson House, in Wabasha, Minnesota. It became renowned for offering good home-cooked food from the Anderson family recipes, as well as for an innovative rent-a-cat program, offering guests feline companionship for the night. It was in 1982 that John Sr. purchased his first motor coach, which he used to take guests to local sporting events. Soon after, statewide tours were offered, and winter trips to warm weather destinations followed. As the motor coach fleet grew, they began offering tours to all 50 states and most Canadian provinces, and then Alaska. In 2001, John Sr. officially created John Hall's Alaska from his realization that there was no other single tour operator putting all of its time and attention into the state of Alaska. Since the sale of the Anderson House in Wabasha, John Hall III, Joseph, and Elizabeth, the next generation of family, have joined John Sr. in the daily operations of the company, and each has enjoyed sharing the love and passion for Alaska with every visitor, only enhancing the business. Family and quality relationships continue to remain the most important element for success of the business. This is felt through the entire team, every guest, and each partner throughout the state, as we treat every individual with the highest quality of relationship, whether an Alaska partner or guest. At John Hall's Alaska, we consider sustainability efforts and practices to be a key role in not only the day-to-day functions of the business, but essential to supporting local communities and helping preserve local cultures. By continuing to make conscious choices in the tourism industry, John Hall's Alaska's sustainability efforts will benefit Alaska's communities, partners, and even visitors for many years to come. Since 2016, John Hall's Alaska has been Adventure Green Alaska certified, acknowledged by our continued sustainability efforts in the Alaska tourism industry by supporting local communities, helping preserve cultures, and making environmentally conscious choices. Adventure Green Alaska is the Alaska Travel Industry Association's certification program to recognize tourism businesses operating in the state of Alaska that practice economic, environmental, social, and cultural sustainability. AGA-certified companies believe that employing and adhering to sustainability management practices benefit both visitors and hosts, and still deliver outstanding travel experiences. Sustainability is not just environmental. It is also about sustaining economic growth in communities through local organizations and businesses. It is a priority of John Hall's Alaska when seeking partners in Alaska to find organizations that are locally owned and operated. At the end of the day, this affects the people who live and work in these communities, and our support of these organizations and businesses affect the year-round funding to places such as schools, community programs, organizations, and other local businesses. From the start, providing guests with a rich, authentic cultural experience has always been a top priority. For over 40 years, John Hall's Alaska has worked to establish and maintain relationships with Alaska's First People, allowing us to work directly with local villages and indigenous peoples of Alaska to allow our guests to immerse themselves in the culture firsthand. We consider it a John Hall's Alaska founding principle and one that continues to be a focus on our tours. We put in the miles covering Alaska's 5 geographic regions: Far North Arctic, Interior South Central, Southeast, and Southwest, many of which requires access by plane or boat. We do that as well. Aside from the wildlife and beauty, within these regions also lie sacred native homelands, dating back thousands of years.
Every day there's something new, from seeing whales to the scenery. It's breathtaking.
I've been on several cruises and you just don't get such an in-depth exposure and understanding.
It's not some big corporation that's just out to make money. They really love Alaska, and you can tell it by the job they do.
They make everybody feel like family. They care. They really care about making sure you have a fabulous experience in Alaska. Their love for Alaska shows through.
John Hall's Alaska elevates the Alaska experience more than any other Alaska tour company by giving guests 2/3 more of the real Alaska in an intimate small group setting and with a family-like atmosphere and industry-leading customer service. When individuals become a John Hall's Alaska guest, special attention is given to every detail and requests, and all guests become part of the John Hall family, sharing connections and Alaska expertise for years to come. John Hall's Alaska is proud to celebrate over 4 decades of sharing Alaska and the world with visitors the John Hall way. At John Hall's Alaska, immense pride is put on the value-added and true meaning of a worry-free experience. Tour packages are built to include all meals, including breakfast, lunch, and dinner. During a John Hall's Alaska tour, enjoy luxury motor coach and rail transportation, professional, qualified, and knowledgeable guides. Several included daily activities, all luggage handling, priority access at all events, taxes, airport meet and greets, transfers, fuel charges, service staff gratuities, and constant John Hall's Alaska tour representation, whether in the interior or Southeast Alaska. Each tour remains with the same guide and small group throughout the duration of the experience. Guests enjoy a soft adventure style of touring, simply meaning that John Hall's Alaska packages include travel to remote Alaska destinations and into the wild, while accommodating guests of all requests, mobility levels, and attention to detail. For added convenience, John Hall's Alaska comes with an active rating to help determine which tour is the best fit for each guest's comfort level. Many land experiences can be paired with a John Hall's Alaska custom Southeast Alaska offering, either through day vessel, overnight small boat, or larger cruise ships, all while providing an immersive look at Southeast Alaska's unique highlights. Our one-of-a-kind itineraries reflect Alaska-style luxury with a dress code that is 100% casual. For John Hall's Alaska, luxury is all about delivering the real Alaska to guests. We do this by bringing visitors to nature, avoiding summer crowds, providing an exclusive touring experience through privately chartered excursions, including small boats and small planes, while sharing the culture, history, and people of Alaska. The team at John Hall's Alaska is proud to give guests access into the heart of remote national parks and preserves, while forming over 4 decades of exclusive relationships with Alaska families, businesses, and other operations, to give guests a true and unique look at Alaskan culture and traditions. John Hall's Alaska is the only tour company in Alaska to offer flexible style dining and cherishes the ability to share Alaska through visitors' palates with some of the best chefs and cuisines around. When the destination allows for it, guests will be able to select lunch and dinner meals from a restaurant's entire menu, and according to their schedule of when a guest chooses to dine. On land, dinners include adult beverages and non-alcoholic beverages, included with all meals. This includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner, hand-selected and taste-tested to feature Alaska's finest scratch kitchens and local cuisine in a 100% casual environment. The culinary experience, available during an Alaska adventure, often comes as a surprise to many visitors and makes as lasting an impression as a sight of glaciers and wildlife. John Hall's Alaska strives to deliver a first-class service experience from start to finish. This starts with the incredible customer experience and service offered during the reservation and pre-trip process. This only gets better as guests arrive in Alaska. From the minute you step off the plane, a John Hall's representative greets you, no matter what time the guest arrives. Throughout your entire trip, a professional John Hall's representative ensures guests are having the best experience possible. This also means before, during, and after your trip, a John Hall's Alaska representative is available 24/7.
When the guests book with John Hall's, they are completely taken care of. They don't have to worry about a thing. We help them with their flights, insurance. We take care of them once they arrive into Alaska, all the way through until they're done with their trip. We have a representative with them on the land portion and the cruise.
John Hall's Alaska tour guides and representatives are true professionals in this industry, leading Alaska with some of the most extensive resumes. Individuals include intimate knowledge, excitement, and passion to connect guests with Alaska like no one else can. Our expert guides, authentic Alaskan experiences, and exclusive relationships with Alaskan-owned businesses have all helped to make John Hall's Alaska an extremely respected and decorated Alaskan tour operator throughout Alaska, the entire United States, and the world. The John Hall's Alaska motor coach fleet is custom designed, built to provide first-class style touring, offering you increased legroom, flat-screen TVs, 110 power at every seat, restroom facilities, and a complimentary beverage galley, stocked with complimentary fresh-made coffee, tea, hot chocolate, and water. Travel in Alaska can include extensive distances due to the size of the state. However, in the custom motor coaches, hours may seem like minutes in luxury. What is it about Alaska that makes it such a top destination? Alaska is home to incredible highlights, located in mostly remote destinations, which means that most are only accessible by float plane, large aircraft, boat, and even dog sled for some residents. Because of this, most visitors miss incredible parts of Alaska, but as a John Hall's Alaska guest, we will get you there. With the small group approach to experiencing Alaska, visitors get off the normal travel path. Guests get into the heart of Alaska's most treasured, unique, and culturally alive regions. This means not only will you see the most iconic sights, but you will also have intimate and exclusive access to the most pristine parts of this incredible state. All 5 regions of Alaska, parts that visitors don't even know were possible. No other tour company can say that. It's clear why glaciers are such a true Alaska highlight. John Hall's Alaska experiences offer not only views of calving glaciers from the comfort of seagoing vessels, but also the option of gearing up and walking out onto these expansive works of art, soaring over them in flight-seeing tours, and even the chance to land on them and experience ice, snow, and cold firsthand throughout the state. The mountain landscapes are breathtaking and immersive, like nowhere else on Earth. Walking out through the tundra and the low berry bushes, along the rivers, and beneath the overflowing waterfalls is like a visit to an earthly paradise. And ever present is the Great One, known as Denali. Only 30% of Alaskan visitors get to view this iconic mountain. John Hall's Alaska prides itself on giving guests multiple days and opportunities to experience Denali, with success rates over 95% for the past 10 years. Wildlife is a major highlight. Half of the world's population of bald eagles live in Alaska, and other predators such as hawks, foxes, lynx, and some 10,000 wolves, including the famed Toklat pack, which make this their home. Guests should also keep watch for grizzly, moose, caribou, and Dall sheep while traveling through Alaska with us. The amount of wildlife is far greater than what the usual Alaska visitor will witness, given the flexibility of scheduling and ability for tour representatives to make decisions in the best interest of the guest's experience of Alaska. Marine life is abundant, and so it is quite common for you to see sea lions, harbor seals, sea otters, orcas, doll porpoise, and of course the ever-impressive humpback whale, which at times fill the waters around you, spouting and breaching in massive gatherings. A visit to Wrangell St. Elias National Park is offered in most trips, as are the marine-rich waters of Kenai Fjords National Park. John Halls Alaska is proud to offer more time in Denali National Park, offering 3 days and 2 nights minimum stay on all tour programs, and the ability to customize guests' Alaska adventure based on interests. Another spectacular highlight for John Halls Alaska guests is the incredible visit to the amazing Prince William Sound, where sightseeing vessels give visitors a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to sail into one of the richest ecological areas in the world. Like the explorer James Cook, guests cruise through vaulting fjords, cross the threshold of the terminal moraine, and pass into a field of icebergs, viewing the second largest tidewater glacier in North America and the fastest moving in Alaska, Columbia Glacier.
We're pretty well known for being a glacier cruise first and foremost. Usually the thing people are most impressed with, seeing the ice fall and just the nice blue colors of the ice. And then we also try to see as much wildlife as we can. My favorite thing to see is kind of when passengers are seeing things for the first time and just the excitement that they see. We see a lot of this stuff every day, and so it's still exciting for us, but not the same as someone who might have seen it for the first time.
Supporting Alaskan-owned and operated businesses is a priority for John Halls Alaska, and believe these relationships create the most authentic guest experience. In Fairbanks, John Halls Alaska guests have the exclusive opportunity to enjoy a meal and presentation at Trailbreaker Kennel, home of the late Susan Butcher, 4-time winner of the Iditarod. Her family invites John Halls Alaska guests for a visit and introduces visitors to this iconic Alaska sport. Last but certainly not least, guests get the opportunity to meet Trailbreaker Kennel's puppies and spend one-on-one time with them. Experience the historic Talkeetna Roadhouse firsthand, eating a hearty meal alongside mountain climbers and Talkeetna locals.
The Roadhouse has been here for a long time. Food was something that brought you to a table, but you sat with other people from all over, and maybe some of those were climbing the mountain or had just climbed the mountain. And they really ended up kind of nailing the scrambled eggs and the homemade bread and things like that. I embrace that tradition of the Roadhouse.
In addition to the culinary scene of Alaska, many tours include a look at Alaska's fastest growing industry, brewing. Guests enjoy tours and tastings at local favorites, including interactions with brewers and experiencing breweries around the state.
Most of the equipment that you'll find in this building is some of the most sophisticated brewing equipment that you'll find. We've had some pretty impressive growth over the last 7 years. One of the things we've never done is to compromise the quality of the beer. And part of that is giving the beer the time it takes to go through its different stages.
In Fairbanks, we'll visit one of the most unique museum collections in the world, truly something uncommon, tucked away in this largest and coldest interior Alaskan city.
We're kind of unusual because we're a living out of museum. So everything that you'll see in here, except for 3 cars, runs, drives, and gets driven. Clothing collection among the cars is spectacular. It's huge. I've got 8 cars in the building right now. They're the only ones that exist in the world. I go back to 1898. And the newest car we have is 1936.
Alaska has just as much to do with the human story, whether it's the first indigenous people, or later settlers, miners, frontier people, and entrepreneurs. John Halls Alaska has developed long-lasting friendships with Alaska's first people, pioneers,
We use that to get in and out of
heroes, and ambassadors that no other Alaska tour provider can offer. This philosophy and these relationships are intertwined in all John Halls Alaska guest experiences.
For me, creating an experience for our guests really starts with our partners in Alaska, making sure to highlight the people that are in the remote locations, in the remote cities, in the areas that really make Alaska what it is. So maintaining those partnerships and maintaining those long-term relationships with our partners is extremely important.
The John Hall's experience is about the relationship I have with the family. I feel like they're family, they feel like I am, but also with the tour directors and the guides and the drivers. I know them all. I've known them for 10 years. I have just get such a kick out of it. We look forward to seeing each other, and I look forward to them introducing me to the guests they have, and that's what makes the John Hall visit so much fun. It's just personal.
In Cordova, Native Alaska guides will take guests hiking and glacier trekking, while partners at the Orca Adventure Lodge will bring guests access to deep-sea fishing and sightseeing at Sheridan Glacier. The Alaska Railroad is an important historical part of Alaska. John Hall's Alaska includes a 4 to 5 hour experience for guests in the first-class Gold Star Service Dome cars. Enjoy a private observation deck and dining car as you travel the Alaska Railroad and experience a unique part of Alaska's infrastructure. Also included in John Hall's Alaska experiences are incredible award-winning wilderness lodges, selected for Alaska-style comfort, but also for access to the great outdoors. The historic and grand Hotel Captain Cook provides easy access to the downtown district of Anchorage, while also receiving the John Hall's Alaska 2022 Partner of the Year Award. The Hotel Captain Cook is always a guest favorite. Additional accommodations include the remote wood setting of Denali Cabins in the shadows of Denali National Park, or the Alaska Glacier Lodge on the shores of the Knik River. The deluxe suites at the Denali Bluffs Hotel also give sweeping views of Denali National Park's forests and mountains. The Talkeetna Alaskan Lodge, located in Talkeetna, with expansive views of the Alaska Range and the south side of Mount Denali from its back porch. In Wrangell St. Elias National Park, you can hike Root Glacier, just steps from the Kennecott Glacier Lodge. The Harbor 360 Hotel in Seward, the Totem Hotel and Suites in Valdez, and the Orca Adventure Lodge in Cordova bring access to open ocean and wilderness activities. Alaska is extensive, and our team is here to help. Customer service is at the heart of everything we stand for. Should you have questions or wish to customize an Alaska Dream vacation further, please contact one of our John Hall's Alaska team members for assistance and recommendations. We offer pre- and post-tour accommodations in Anchorage, Fairbanks, Sitka, and Juneau. Consider adding a unique bear viewing trip to Katmai National Park. Saltwater fishing, targeting halibut, salmon, and ling cod. We will have your catch process packed and shipped to your home once you arrive. Or even a flyout trip to a wilderness fishing lodge for world-class rainbow trout while fishing a river like the Naknek. From dream destination to becoming reality, our team's expertise can help you fulfill all of your Alaska desires. Our 10-day Grand Slam Alaska tour is John Hall's Alaska's most popular itinerary and offers the most thorough experience for first-time visitors. This itinerary offers more departure dates than any other itinerary, the ability to customize days according to guest preferences, and is enhanced for the 2024 season with an exclusive partnership with Alaska Glacier Lodge. Beginning in Anchorage, journey along the Glen Highway to Valdez for 2 nights, followed by Fairbanks for 2 nights, and then on to Denali National Park area, visiting the Denali Cabins for 2 evenings. The land portion of the itinerary is completed with 1 night at the quaint and quiet Alaska Glacier Lodge before returning to Anchorage for a final evening at the Hotel Captain Cook in downtown Anchorage. Guests who wish to explore Southeast Alaska will find multiple options to choose from that match up with this land itinerary, including a privately chartered overnight vessel, the Platinum Inside Passage experience, or a large cruise ship experience on board the Celebrity Summit. The Grand Slam Alaska experience begins with a scenic trip across the Glen Highway, traveling past Matanuska Glacier before arriving in Valdez. From Valdez, embark on an outstanding glacier and wildlife cruise into Prince William Sound to witness tidewater glaciers, towering fjords, and dense concentrations of several species of whales, otters, sea lions, and seabirds, including eagles and puffins. After 2 nights in Valdez, travel through breathtaking Keystone Canyon and north on the Richardson Highway to Fairbanks for the next 2 evenings at Bear Lodge. In Fairbanks, experience the historic riverboat discovery, an exclusive visit to the Trailbreaker Kennels, learning about the Iditarod race experience and the late Susan Butcher, a visit to the unique Fountainhead Antique Auto Museum, followed by an evening at the Alaska Salmon Bake and the Palace Theater Saloon Show, offering a glimpse into the settlement and history of Fairbanks. Travel by first class with Gold Star service in the luxury dome cars of the Alaska Railroad from Fairbanks to Denali National Park. While in Denali, you have access to both adventure and relaxation. While enjoying 2 evenings at the Denali Cabins, guests will also have the opportunity to experience Denali National Park through a sightseeing tour just over 42 miles into the park. Take in the Visitors Center and free time in the Denali Canyon before returning to the Denali Cabins to enjoy stories and s'mores around a bonfire with fellow traveling companions. After a morning of adventure, choosing between ATV, zip lining, whitewater rafting, or helicopter activity, continue traveling south along the Denali Range before reaching the quiet Alaska Glacier Lodge. It is here guests will have the opportunity to immerse themselves in true Alaskan backcountry beauty. A visit to the Anchorage Museum is a perfect summary of the art, culture, and science that so defines the essence of Alaska and rounds out the tour before enjoying one more evening in downtown Anchorage at the Hotel Captain Cook. The Grand Slam Alaska is an Alaska odyssey, all packed into one experience. A true testament to John Hall's Alaska's intimate knowledge of amazing destinations and our ability to take guests to unique Alaska locations is the 11-day Untamed Alaska Tour. The Untamed Alaska experience gives visitors extensive exposure to Alaska's iconic wilderness surroundings and includes 2 Pick Your Adventure days, where guests can choose deep sea fishing, glacier viewing by helicopter, hiking, ATV, and even zip lining. Beginning in Anchorage, overnighting at the historic Hotel Captain Cook, guests fly to Cordova for 2 nights for glacier and wildlife viewing. We cruise to Valdez for a 2-night stay, traverse the Denali Highway to Denali National Park for 2 nights, and then head south to Talkeetna for 2 nights, with a final night in Anchorage to round out the trip. Guests begin this tour with a visit to the Anchorage Museum, in time in Anchorage's downtown district. After lunch, fly on Alaska Airlines to the tiny fishing village of Cordova, located on the banks of Prince William Sound, and home to the historic Orca Adventure Lodge. This restored cannery sits right upon the water and offers multiple activities like deep sea fishing for salmon and halibut. After a relaxing evening, guests will have the option the next morning of taking a Sheridan Glacier and Copper River hike, glacier viewing by helicopter, or participating in a Copper River Delta and Cordova photography tour. The following day, cruise the splendors of Prince William Sound aboard the privately chartered vessel, viewing plentiful marine wildlife, before docking in Valdez for a 2-night stay. The next day is spent basking in captivating glacier views while traversing the icy waters of Columbia Bay, before arriving near the face of the actively calving Columbia Glacier the second largest tidewater glacier in North America, and the largest in Prince William Sound. After experiencing majestic Valdez, journey north into Keystone Canyon, viewing Bridal Veil and Horsetail Falls, as well as Worthington Glacier. Next, head out for a true adventure on the primitive 135-mile Denali Highway, considered one of the top 10 most scenic drives in North America by National Geographic, thus ending our drive in Denali National Park. While in Denali, guests will overnight at the Denali Bluffs Hotel with the deluxe experience, where each room has their own beautiful balcony overlooking the Denali Canyon. The following morning, board sightseeing vehicles for an outstanding wildlife viewing trip, traveling just over 42 miles into Denali National Park. On return, enjoy time at the Visitor Center and afternoon at your leisure. The next morning offers adventure with a Pick Your Adventure experience, choosing from ATV, ziplining, whitewater rafting, or upgrading to a helicopter flight with glacier landing. After 2 nights in Denali National Park, board the first-class Alaska Railroad Gold Star cars for a journey south to Talkeetna, an historic mining and climbing base camp, and enjoy 2 nights at the relaxing Talkeetna Alaskan Lodge. During the time in Talkeetna, guests will pay a visit to a local kennel for a private tour and presentation by former Iditarod mushers, where they will provide personal insight and stories about preparing for a race like the Iditarod. Before returning to Anchorage, experience the thrilling Mahays Jet Boat adventure, traveling 130 miles through the rivers of Denali State Park and Devil's Canyon. And finally, enjoy one more evening at the Hotel Captain Cook before departing for home. Embark on an unparalleled adventure through Alaska's national parks with the one-of-a-kind John Hall's Alaska 14-Day National Parks of Alaska Tour. This unique and one-of-a-kind tour in Alaska combines adventure and several of Alaska's remote locations to allow visitors to experience visiting an astounding 6 of the 8 national parks in Alaska. Guests can enhance an Alaskan experience by arriving in Alaska 1 to 2 days early and adding an adventure to Kobuk National Park, or by joining one of the John Hall's Alaska custom and exclusive Southeast Alaska experiences to include Glacier Bay National Park. Combine it all to be one of the few visitors to ever reach all 8 of Alaska's treasured, remote, and unique national parks. From Anchorage, guests head to world-renowned Katmai National Park for bear viewing at Brooks Falls. The following day, guests adventure to Lake Clark National Park via small aircraft. After returning to Anchorage for another night, continue across the Matanuska and Copper River valleys to board small privately chartered planes for flight seeing over the Wrangell Mountain Range. Enjoy 2 evenings overnighting in Kennecott before returning to the Richardson Highway and on to Fairbanks for 2 evenings. From Fairbanks, guests will fly into Gates of the Arctic National Park via small privately chartered planes, also visiting the villages of Anaktuvik Pass and then on to Utqiagvik, formerly known as Barrow, the northernmost point in North America. Next, take the Alaska Railroad to Denali National Park for 2 nights, followed by a night at Alaska Glacier Lodge before continuing on to Seward and the Kenai Peninsula for 2 evenings. Experience the 6th park on this all-inclusive journey, Kenai Fjords National Park. Enjoy 1 more evening in downtown Anchorage at the historic Hotel Captain Cook before returning home or continuing to Southeast Alaska or visiting additional parks on your own. We begin in Anchorage, where guests' first 2 days include small aircraft experiences, visiting Katmai National Park and Lake Clark National Park on day trips from Anchorage. In Katmai National Park and the Valley of 10,000 Smokes, watch coastal brown bears feast on the Salmon Run at Brooks Falls, one of the most immersive and powerful nature watching experiences available. Both of these days will be dependent upon the participation of Alaska's weather. In Wrangell St. Elias National Park, spend time in the sister communities of McCarthy and Kennecott, where guests visit the renovated wonders of the Kennecott Copper Mine. Stay 2 evenings at the premier Kennecott Glacier Lodge, offering expansive views of Kennecott Glacier, Mount Blackburn, and the Chugach Mountains from the lodge. With Fairbanks acting as home base, guests fly out over the Arctic Circle, landing in gates of the Arctic National Park, home to the last Inuit village and Aktuvik Pass. Next, fly over the breathtaking Brooks Range to Utqiagvik, Alaska, getting to know the Alaska Native history, lifestyle, and sustainable living associated with the remote northern community. Enjoy the opportunity to say you dipped your feet in the Arctic Ocean, or maybe even venture for a full plunge. In Denali National Park, witness the active biodiversity of grizzly, wolves, moose, and Dall sheep, with the impressive 20,310-foot Denali as the backdrop. Enjoy 2 evenings at the Denali Bluffs Hotel, along with a day trip traveling just over 42 miles into Denali National Park. Before heading south, enjoy a morning to add on a customize your adventure, choosing between ATV, zip line, whitewater rafting, and helicopter experiences. Guests will follow Denali with a visit to the relaxing Alaska Glacier Lodge, with each room being its own cabin. We'll continue south, reaching Kenai Fjords National Park, where visitors have the chance to enjoy a day on the ocean, navigating amongst calving glaciers and viewing numerous species of marine wildlife before returning to Anchorage the following day. Enjoy an evening in downtown Anchorage at the historic Hotel Captain Cook before returning home or flying to Southeast Alaska. Enhance the Alaska experience and visit Glacier Bay National Park by pairing the national parks of Alaska with the unique and one-of-a-kind chartered overnight vessel in Southeast Alaska, an exclusive experience offered by John Halls Alaska. Guests may choose to add Kobuk Valley National Park and Glacier Bay National Park at their leisure pre- or post-trip. Discover an Alaska and Yukon steeped in a gold rush history with our 14-day 1898 Alaska and Yukon Gold Rush adventure. This 11-day land and 3-day Inside Passage experience taps into the historic John Halls Alaska beginnings, combined with new features, giving a snapshot of the Platinum Inside Passage. This itinerary begins in Anchorage and spends 2 nights at the Alaska Glacier Lodge before 2 nights at Denali National Park. After 1 night in Fairbanks and 1 night in Tok, we head into the Yukon for 2 nights of colorful Gold Rush history in Dawson City and 1 night in the Yukon capital of Whitehorse. Guests experience the historic White Pass and Yukon Route Railway into Skagway, where visitors join the exclusive John Halls Alaska vessel for a trip to Haines for 1 evening, followed by 2 nights in Juneau. While in Southeast Alaska, guests will visit Klukwan, home of the Tlingit Nation, explore Tracy Arm Fjord, and experience incredible whale and marine life viewing while sailing Alaska's rich water. We begin in Anchorage with a city tour and visit to the Anchorage Museum before heading north. Enjoy views of the glorious Chugach Mountains and Alaska Range during your 2 nights at Alaska Glacier Lodge, with a free day for choice of activity before continuing north to Denali National Park. Enjoy 2 evenings at the Denali Cabins, along with a day trip traveling just over 42 miles into Denali National Park on a wildlife viewing excursion in search of moose, bear, Dall sheep, caribou, and wolves. Enhance your morning with an exciting ATV adventure, whitewater rafting, ziplining, or taking a thrilling helicopter flight before boarding the luxurious dome car aboard the Alaska Railroad with Gold Star service north to Fairbanks for a 1-night stay. After an exclusive experience at Trailbreaker Kennel, home of the late 4-time Iditarod champion Susan Butcher, guests continue on to Tok for the last night in Alaska before entering the Yukon. Leaving Alaska behind we travel to the top of the World Highway and enter the Yukon, witnessing dramatic mountain landscapes. It is in Dawson City that we find our Tales of Gold Rush glory, tour a historic gold mining site, and spend time at your leisure before heading down to Diamond Tooth Gertie's gambling hall, where we will try our luck at cards and dice and enjoy a rousing can-can show. Truly brave souls might be drawn to taking the Sourdough Cocktail Challenge, a rite of passage for Dawson City visitors. Take a shot of whiskey, usually Yukon Jack, and kiss the mummified human toe hanging out at the bottom of your glass. Witness the mighty Yukon River in Whitehorse before joining the world-famous White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad for an incredibly scenic trip from Fraser, British Columbia into Skagway, Alaska, dropping 3,000 feet in just 20 miles. After an afternoon exploring the boardwalk sidewalks and body saloons of Skagway, board a privately chartered dayboat for a trip through the Upper Lynn Canal into Haines for an overnight. While in Haines, visit Cluckwan, home of the Chilkat Tlingit, and hear stories and traditional songs while learning about the native people of the Chilkat Valley while traveling through the Bald Eagle Preserve. Juneau will serve as our home base for the next 2 evenings while we spend a full day exploring Tracy Arm Fjord in search of numerous species of marine wildlife and view tidewater glaciers. After a magnificent day spent out on the water, followed by a farewell dinner with your travel companions, you'll fly home from Juneau the following morning. Our ever-popular Fall Colors Alaska and the Canadian Rockies itinerary is back for 2024. This 18-day itinerary follows prime leaf color change from Alaska through the Yukon and into the Canadian Rockies, and concludes in Seattle, Washington. We begin in Anchorage, followed by a drive to Palmer, with a 2-night stay at Alaska Glacier Lodge along the Knik River Valley. Next, it's to Talkeetna, then to Denali National Park, and 2 nights at Denali Bluffs. Then we take the train to Fairbanks, and then on to the Alaska and Yukon border, visiting Tok, Whitehorse, Watson and Muncho Lake, Fort Nelson, Dawson Creek, Jasper, Lake Louise, Kamloops, and completing in Seattle. Guests begin with an overnight in Anchorage at the historic Captain Cook Hotel, with the next morning spent leisurely exploring the Anchorage Museum and its collection of Alaska's art, culture, and science, followed by a drive to Palmer, with a 2-night stay at the beautiful Alaska Glacier Lodge, nestled in the mountains along the Knik River Valley. Enjoy your time with optional activities or at your leisure, relaxing on the deck of your private cabin. While in Palmer, you will also spend a morning visiting the Alaska State Fair, marveling at record-setting giant vegetables, beautiful flower gardens, learning about Alaska Native culture, and more. Finish the day by attending a private dinner presentation on the lifestyle of the Iditarod and what makes a successful Iditarod experience. Traveling north to Talkeetna, enjoy a thrilling ride through Devil's Canyon on board a Mahays jet boat adventure while watching for wildlife such as bears and eagles. This afternoon, guests will travel via motor coach to Denali National Park before settling in for the next 2 nights at Denali Bluffs, overlooking Denali National Park with incredible views of the fall foliage. The next morning, head into Denali National Park on a tour traveling just over 42 miles into the park while watching for bear, moose, caribou, and other animals, followed by a Denali Adventure Day, set aside for your choice of included activities. Witness fall in Alaska, aboard the Alaska Railroad's first class glass dome car with Gold Star service, before arriving in Fairbanks for the evening. After a morning spent cuddling pups at an exclusive dog mushing presentation at Trailbreaker Kennel, home of the 4-time Iditarod champion Susan Butcher, and a stop at North Pole, Alaska, the journey continues as we make our way to the Alaska and Yukon Territory border. Visit the stunning Kluane National Park and tour Daku Cultural Center. Watch for bison, sheep, and fox as you marvel at the spruce trees and autumn leaves of birch, poplar, and aspen along the way. Before arriving in Whitehorse, the capital of the Yukon, spend the next morning enjoying the dramatic view of the river and cliffs that surround you. Begin the next day with a stop at the Yukon Transportation Museum, followed by Teslin Lake, and arriving in Watson Lake for the evening. Before getting underway on day 9 of this grand adventure, stop at the Signpost Forest, followed by a visit to the aqua-green-colored waters of the 7.5-mile-long Muncho Lake, with the afternoon free for exploring this beautiful area. A visit to the Fort Nelson Heritage Museum offers visitors a glimpse into the history of transportation, a memorial to the hardworking men and women who built the Elkan Highway. The Mile Zero signpost at Dawson Creek offers a significant highlight, as guests have now traveled the entire 1,387 miles of the Alaska Highway. Grand rugged peaks welcome you to Jasper and Banff National Parks, where you visit spectacular scenery at the banks of Lake Louise, Peyto Lake, and Moraine Lake. Join a massive Ice Explorer coach for a brief trek onto the ice of Athabasca Glacier. Settle into your home for the next 2 evenings, located in the middle of the Columbia ice fields. While in Banff National Park, take a breathtakingly beautiful gondola ride up Sulphur Mountain to have lunch at the top. Explore the hiking trails and visit the Cultural Interpretive Center. The next day, journey south to Kamloops and take a step back in time. Known originally as a site of trade between First Nations people, Kamloops offers scenic accommodations before arriving into Seattle to depart for home. Many land packages pair nicely with a variety of inside passage experiences, matching John Hall's Alaska philosophies, utilizing day and overnight privately chartered vessels. For those wishing for a more immersive inside passage experience, John Hall's Alaska offers privately chartered summer sailings aboard a 48-passenger vessel, Admiralty Dream, operated by our partner, Alaskan Dream Cruises. The experience focuses on creating a customized Southeast Alaska itinerary to include our favorite ports of call and marine wildlife viewing areas, so this experience is truly one of a kind. With this experience comes an inclusive atmosphere that mimics our land tours, with included daily shore excursions, local and Alaska Native guides, and outstanding meals and beverages. The small boat cruise option is available to pair with select land tours or can be booked as a cruise option. Alternatively, John Hall's Alaska is proud to offer the industry-leading Platinum Inside Passage experience for those interested in seeing Southeast Alaska in a different way. This experience offers the flexibility of staying in hotels while taking day adventures throughout Southeast Alaska and customizing port activities in Sitka, Skagway, Haines, and Juneau. During the day, you will enjoy in-depth excursions into fascinating Alaska ports and spend evenings in Sitka, Haines, or Juneau, interacting with locals and exploring town highlights. These sailings are custom-built by John Hall's Alaska to showcase Alaska's fantastic whales and other marine wildlife, with extended time in Glacier Bay National Park, Skagway, and Haines. Some shore excursions are included with this experience, as are all meals and hotel overnights. And this is a great opportunity to see Southeast Alaska without having to cruise. A John Hall's Alaska representative will be on board all sailings, acting as your private concierge and treating you as our privileged guests all throughout the entire experience. If you are interested in a larger cruise ship experience, a cruise on board the Celebrity Summit can also be added onto certain Grand Slam Alaska land departures. This sails from Seward to Vancouver, with the cuisine and experience of a cruise vessel. Alaska is truly a casual destination. The same casual attire that you enjoy while on a land program is also welcome aboard the small overnight vessel or day adventures with the Platinum Inside Passage experience. If traveling on board the Celebrity Summit, the evening dress code features 6 evenings of smart casual with 1 evening of evening chic attire. Offering an unmatched value and experience is the goal with all of John Hall's Alaska Southeast Alaska experiences. John Hall's Alaska's exclusive overnight exploration aboard the Admiralty Dream is limited to only 48 passengers, and this unique experience cannot be found anywhere else. This 9-day sailing is suitable for most mobility levels, with the option to be as active or relaxed as you desire. Aboard the privately chartered vessel, guests will experience an abundance of Alaska's marine wildlife, glaciers, and beautiful sights up close and personal. Naturalist-guided daily shore excursions allow you to fully explore each port of call, by foot, kayak, skiff boat, and more. Every day is full of your choice of included excursions, keeping you out in nature and exploring all of the beauty that the Inside Passage has to offer. Return to your vessel each evening for chef-prepared meals and restful overnights on the water. Aboard the Admiralty Dream, guests will begin their adventure in Alaska's capital city of Juneau, with visits to Mendenhall Glacier and Glacier Gardens, followed by a delicious and private dining experience at Orca Point Lodge, including crab, salmon, and prime rib. Continue the journey with a full day at Glacier Bay National Park, allowing for an exploration of the Visitor Center and nearby trails, bringing you close to glaciers and icebergs. Be sure to watch for seals, puffin, sea otters, and whales along the way. Guests will also spend time at one of Alaska's hidden gems and home to one of the greatest densities of bald eagle in the world, in Haines. Learn about the Tlingit heritage by visiting the Chilkat Kwan Heritage Center and village of Klukwan while traveling through the Bald Eagle Preserve. Guests will visit the ever-beautiful Tracy Arm Fjord while you cruise the length of this glacially carved jade green fjord, tracing granite cliffs rising 40,000 feet above sea level. Surrounded by waterfalls and marine wildlife, you will also have the opportunity to hop in a skiff for an up-close exploration of South Sawyer Glacier, while viewing sea lions, icebergs, and potential glacial calving. Next stop is a small port of Wrangell, where you will have some time to explore the town shops and colorful history at the Wrangell Museum. Later, join an exhilarating jet boat adventure up the wild Stikine River, the fastest navigable free-flowing river in North America, and a region celebrated by naturalist John Muir. While traveling along the Stikine River, a full day will be spent at Eastern Baranof Island, where guests may join their naturalists for a guided shore walk, watch for wildlife, kayak, and possible skiff rides. Conclude your incredible journey in the historic city of Sitka with visits to Fortress of the Bear, the Alaska Raptor Center, and time to explore downtown before you depart for home. Choose to enjoy the Admiralty Dream as a cruise only, or pair it with one of our celebrated land tours. Important to note is that your itinerary may fluctuate based on your departure date. John Hall's Alaska's one-of-a-kind and industry-leading Platinum Inside Passage small boat experience allows you to explore Alaska's Inside Passage by private dayboat, with excursions into some of Southeast Alaska's most wildlife-rich and historic coastal areas without having to be on an overnight vessel. Fully guided by Alaska naturalists and John Hall's Alaska Tour representatives, by day you'll enjoy amazing marine wildlife encounters, glacier viewing, exploring many of Southeast Alaska's historic towns, and experiencing Alaska's native culture. Evenings will be spent in port, rubbing elbows with the locals in Alaska's first capital city, Sitka, or Alaska's more well-known and current capital city of Juneau, overnighting at local hotels. With this custom and one-of-a-kind Southeast Alaska experience, the Platinum Inside Passage voyage spends 2 nights in Sitka. On arrival, visit the Alaska Raptor Center in the Fortress of the Bear. The following day is spent at the guest leisure, with the freedom to enhance how they choose to spend the day, with optional activities available to add. The next day, venture to Alaska's capital city by private day vessel. Tour Juneau's Mendenhall Glacier and Glacier Gardens, with time in town to rub elbows with the locals over dinner. Visit the gold rush town of Skagway and add an optional White Pass Summit train excursion. Walk along the wooden boardwalks in town or tour the historic Red Onion Saloon, once a profitable brothel. New in 2024, travel via the day vessel to Haines for an overnight. While in Haines, visit Klukwan, home of the Tlingit Nation, and hear cultural stories, visit a clan house, and travel along the Bald Eagle Preserve. Before returning to Juneau, travel through humpback and orca feeding grounds for incredible whale watching right off the bow of the boat. Enjoy a delicious feast at the Orca Point Lodge this evening before arriving in Juneau. Finally, spend a full day traveling through Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve, visiting this park in one of the most intimate settings possible. Guests enjoy an in-depth exploration of the park's tidewater glaciers and marine mammals. John Hall's Alaska is excited to offer this innovative and exclusive Southeast Alaska Inside Passage experience, which sails with only John Hall's Alaska guests on board and includes all meals and hotel overnights. Daily activities have been included, with the option to add more in some ports should you so desire. Of the millions of visitors to Southeast Alaska every year, elevate your adventure with this unique small group experience that can be enjoyed as a Platinum Inside Passage experience only or paired with an interior land package. Returning in 2024, guests have the option to pair a John Hall's Alaska Land Tour with a 7-night cruise on board the award-winning Celebrity Summit. The vessel has an average passenger capacity of approximately 2,200 guests and allows you to enjoy the luxuries provided with the large ship experience. The endless amount of onboard entertainment and activities will keep you busy during your time on the Celebrity Summit. Enjoy live music, captivating shows, unwind on the rooftop terrace, explore the art gallery, catch your favorite movie at the theater, go shopping, or play your luck at the casino. Relax at the solarium after a long day of exploring, an exclusive adults-only pool and hot tub, or escape to the spa and indulge in a world of relaxation within your journey. The ship also includes a fitness center and a jogging track. The outdoor jogging track is located on the ship's top deck, offering breathtaking ocean views while you work out. Food is of stellar quality on this ship, and with multiple dining options available, guests are certain to find something that suits their desires and satisfies the palate. The main dining room provides an exceptional service and plated meals at breakfast, selected lunches, and dinner nightly. There's a delightful range of delectable cuisine and plenty of dining options that cater to every mood. Menus are influenced by the exceptional areas we explore and sourced from only the finest ingredients. Satisfy your taste buds as we embark on a culinary adventure. When cruising, tap water, tea, coffee, and selected juices are included. Alcohol, soda, and bottled water is an extra cost for cruisers, but drinking packages are available for your consideration. Guests sail out of Seward, Alaska, on a Friday evening. Saturday, visit Yakutat Bay, home to the largest tidewater glacier in North America, Hubbard Glacier. The ship captain will bring the vessel alongside the glacier to spend 30 to 40 minutes watching the thunderous roar produced as the glacier ice falls into the waters below. Sunday, guests arrive in the capital of Alaska, Juneau. On Monday, it's a journey back in time to the gateway of the Klondike, Skagway, Alaska. Tuesday brings guests to the wilderness port of Icy Strait Point. Wednesday, visit Ketchikan, the salmon capital of the world, before spending Thursday cruising the spectacular Inside Passage. Early Friday morning, guests will dock in Vancouver, British Columbia. Cruising offers 4 different cabin choices. Inside staterooms are approximately 170 square feet, with no window. Outside cabins are similar in size, but with a 3x4 foot window. The fastest selling staterooms in Alaska are the veranda cabins, around 190 square feet with a large private balcony. These are popular because of Alaska's great coastal scenery, with mainland and island views on both sides for a good portion of the trip. Suites are around 250 square feet with a veranda of 50 square feet, known as Sky Suites. Shore excursions are available at the following ports: Juneau, Skagway, Icy Strait Point, and Ketchikan, Alaska. Selecting the perfect shore excursion to get the most out of your trip can be overwhelming with all of the options to choose from, but we encourage you to call our office and discuss shore excursions prior to making a commitment on your own. It is our #1 goal to protect your time and investment in Alaska. The amazing 11-day Iditarod and Aurora Adventure Winter Tour, recommended by the Travel Channel and several other media outlets, is an amazing way to engage with Alaska's people and popular winter traditions. Starting with 3 nights in downtown Anchorage, guests then travel into Talkeetna, staying at the Talkeetna Alaskan Lodge for 2 nights. Then it's on to Fairbanks for 5 nights of adventure, including 2 at the world-famous Borealis Base Camp, giving guests a chance to sleep under the Aurora Borealis. This tour focuses on the historic Iditarod race, Aurora, and what makes Alaska so unique in the wintertime. This tour begins with an adventure day, where guests will partake in an activity of their choice, including options such as Knik and Colony Glacier flight-seeing tour, fat tire biking, a winter nature walk, or a day spent on the slopes, followed by dinner at the annual Iditarod Mushers Banquet, where guests will watch as the Iditarod Mushers draw their bib numbers. The following day includes a visit to the Palmer Muskox Farm, with a private dinner presentation this evening with an experienced Iditarod musher who will share their personal stories of training, life on the trail, and their relationship with their best teammates, the dogs. Let the ceremonies begin. Attend the ceremonial start of the Iditarod in downtown Anchorage. Walk among the teams and pick your favorite musher. There is plenty of time to view the dog teams before the start. After lunch, travel to Talkeetna, your home for the next 2 evenings. Tonight, cozy up in front of the lodge's impressive 46-foot river rock fireplace, or step outside and watch for Alaska's evening light show, the breathtaking Aurora Borealis. The Aurora experience is more awe-inspiring than you can imagine, and you will have 7 consecutive days to experience it. It begins with your stay in Talkeetna. Here, famous Aurora photographer Frank Stelgis will teach you the best way to capture the northern lights on your camera. Practice capturing the Aurora Borealis from the lodge's wooden deck, with views of Mount Denali in the distance. While visiting Fairbanks, attend the World Ice Art Championships and take exhilarating dog sled rides with our friends from Trailbreaker Kennels. Enhance your Iditarod experience with a guest favorite and truly unique experience. From Fairbanks, take a privately chartered flight to an important Iditarod checkpoint, where guests will see firsthand how these brave mushers handle teams of 16 dogs all on their own while battling the elements. This is truly a behind-the-scenes look at Alaska's last great race. We realize that small planes may not be for everyone, so your flight to an Iditarod checkpoint is optional for those who do not wish to include it. Finish the tour with 2 nights overnight at the world-famous Borealis Base Camp, located north of Fairbanks and away from the city lights, offering the opportunity to experience sleeping under the Aurora Borealis in your own private domed igloo, a one-of-a-kind experience in North America. While at Borealis Base Camp, enjoy a day of Alaska winter activities, choosing to snowshoe, dog sled, or even snowmobile. Return to Fairbanks to fly home at 12 p.m. This 8-day Alaska's Winter Wonders tour was born from a love of Alaska's winter season. This itinerary is a photographer's dream and features multiple nights of Northern Lights viewing, awesome winter activities, and leisurely mornings. Start your tour with 1 night in Fairbanks and 2 nights at Borealis Base Camp. Next, we head to Talkeetna for 2 nights, followed by 2 nights in Anchorage. It's the perfect length for a quick trip, spring break, and great for all activity levels. This tour includes up to 7 nights of unforgettable aurora viewing. The fun begins with an exhilarating dog sled ride with our friends at Trailbreaker Kennels, followed by partaking in one of Alaska's favorite sports with a private curling lesson at the Fairbanks Curling Club. Before arriving at Borealis Base Camp, 2 evenings will be spent viewing the aurora from your glass-domed room. While at Borealis Base Camp, the days will be spent enjoying Alaska winter activities, with options to snowshoe, dog sled, or snowmobile. Guests will also have the opportunity to visit the home of the renowned aurora photographer Frank Stelges, who will provide an interactive lecture and tips on the best way to capture the Northern Lights on your camera. After 2 days in the winter wonderland, travel south to Talkeetna to enjoy views of Mount Denali from the back deck of the Talkeetna Alaskan Lodge. Go for a 2-hour flight seeing tour that not only highlights Mount Denali, but includes a flyby of Hunter, Fouracre, Silverthorn, and Moose's Tooth Peaks before landing in the Great Gorge. Enjoy dinner in Talkeetna before another relaxing evening looking for Aurora Borealis. Arriving in Anchorage, enjoy a brewery tour and visit to the incredible Anchorage Museum. The final day of this spectacular adventure will be spent partaking in winter fun during the guest's choice of activity, such as a wildlife cruise in Seward, a flight seeing tour around Knik Glacier, or visiting Alyeska for a skiing day or a day at the new Nordic Spa, before departing Anchorage the following morning to begin the journey home. The many moons of a John Hall's Alaska World Adventure. When you have a love of travel and discovery as we do, taking on the world was the next logical step. As with all our Alaska small group packages, the John Hall's Alaska World Adventure program is designed for bucket list travel destinations with the same expectations, quality, and rich experience. For those new to John Hall's Alaska, that translates to inclusive and immersive explorations, guided by in-the-know experts, deep in local culture, exclusive behind-the-scenes activities, delectable cuisine, impeccable service, visually striking sights in each destination visited, and tales to tell over and over for years to come. All destinations we travel to are at the request of our guests, so when demand grows, we shift into research and development mode. And voila! The program began as Alumni Adventures, and in 2020, the name transitioned to World Adventure. Our first World Adventure was in 2013, a 14-day Panama Canal cruise that sold out in 2 days. In the years after, we added a Southern Caribbean cruise and a Nova Scotia cruise with a land experience. Both were so successful, we decided to launch our first land-based package with visits to 4 islands in Hawaii. 2 departures sold out in only 4 days. We knew we were onto something, and the program has continued to grow since. It is by design that not every tour is offered every year. With a world as large as this one, the options for explorations are far and wide. We've found that spreading out, where and when we travel every other year or so, not only keeps the program fresh, but it builds anticipation among our guests. And who doesn't enjoy good travels to look forward to? The passion that the John Halls family has for Alaska has continued to grow over the last 4 decades. This fact is evident in the experience, memories, and adventures that John Halls Alaska guests take home with them.
When people say it's impossible, that's kind of a challenge that we take on and say, you know what, it might not be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And our guests are going to see that when they come back from Alaska and say, we did all these different things that most people never had the opportunity to do.
Alaska's my passion. I was fortunate enough to come up here when I was younger and make it part of my life and who I am as a person. And the biggest joy that I get is seeing the reactions of people that have traveled with us over the course of the past couple weeks, making sure that they're happy, enjoying themselves, that they've had a life-changing adventure. It's a very life-changing experience to see the whole experience through your guests every time they come up here.
30 years that I've been coming to Alaska, every trip is different. It never gets old. It's never the same. The destination always presents something different, and that's what excites me.
I think the best part about working for the Halls is the family, and just having a small family atmosphere, working for a company that has been one of the longest tour operators in the state.
Everything was so organized, and they made sure that you saw the best parts of that state. There'll be no way that you could go and do this on your own and get the same experience. It just would be impossible.
I wouldn't consider going with anyone else to Alaska because we know the experience with them is going to cover so many areas.
We've gone places and we've experienced not only sights but also Alaskan culture that has just been incredible.
John Hall offers a turnkey experience. Everything is included.
All the John Hall representatives are just so accommodating and make sure that you get everything you need and take care of you from the time you get there until the time you leave. Really, you can't be beat.
The fact that once I get off that plane, I don't worry about what's happening the next day. Everything is taken care of.
Couldn't pick a better way to travel.
We get that opportunity to get off that beaten path and out into the real community of Alaska and get to see how all these Alaskan people do live and experience that.
Everywhere you go, it's a complete experience. You get to see the culture, you get to see the people, you get to see the food they eat.
Everything that we see is just breathtaking. You get to see the real Alaska. It's just so awesome. It's indescribable.
I have few special needs. I was willing not to do the activity, but she put us in a way that I could travel into the activity. We appreciated it very much.
We were just so pleased to find a company that cared about the people and also cared about the personal itinerary that we wanted to have, because they will custom tailor that itinerary to what you want to do.
Their customer service has been just the best. I mean, you ask questions, they've got the answers.
Everything's taken care of from the time you first call you ever make to them. They always answer the phone. Any questions, they will take care of what you need. So it's first class all the way.
I think just the overall inclusiveness of what we could see within that time frame that you want.
You know, I get such a kick out of the John Halls guests because they come from all over the world, first of all, but there's so many that have been here before, and they're just as happy the second time around. They really, I think, they love the personal nature of working with John Halls, just like we do, and they get to know each other as friends, and really, when you go on a vacation or can make friends and have a great time, nothing's better than that.
John Hall, the family, and the entire team have a legacy dedicated to providing guests with an authentic Alaska experience and continue to develop our tour offerings so that we can offer unique, industry-changing Alaska experiences while combining unprecedented customer service and commitment to hospitality that makes John Halls Alaska unique in all the world. You've been looking for and waiting for your chance to experience Alaska. Why not take it with someone who is dedicated to sharing the best Alaska experience possible? John Halls Alaska.